This is an explanation for week 10. Yes, the last week of our term. If you are on this page, you have made it to the 10th week, and this is it. Congratulations. And you're viewing the videos, so you've already completed activity number 1. The second activity is to read the chapter in poetry and the article that follows. So after reading chapter 4 in the 8th edition, or chapter 11 in the 9th edition, in our textbook, of course, and the article below called Reviewing Poetry, select a book of children's poetry and write a review of the book using the checklist Assessing Quality in Poetry. It's either on figure 4.1 in the 8th edition or in figure 11.1 in the 9th edition. And the information from the textbook and the article. Post your review in this drop box. You're to read 2 of your colleagues' postings and comment on that review. And this is the article that you can read along with one of those chapters depending on which edition you have. Now, there are 2 approaches to teaching poetry, 2 distinct approaches. I mean, there's variations of each of these, but there are at least 2. One way is to teach the classics during a concentrated unit on poetry, working on discovering the meaning of a poem and the poetic devices that a poet uses to convey that meaning. Another approach is to read poetry aloud regularly, allowing children to respond in a variety of individual ways, providing modern collections of poetry for children to browse through, planning and encouraging experiences with choral reading, and teaching how poems work when students demonstrate an interest. I would like you to discuss the differences in these 2 approaches. What assumptions does each approach hold? What are the pros and cons of each approach? How will the classroom practice differ? How might children's responses to poetry differ? What assumptions does each of these approaches hold? And does the age of the child make a difference in using each of these approaches? Respond to these questions in a Word document and post in this Dropbox for this week. You're going to read 2 of your colleagues' postings and comment. So you notice here, there's a little theme, a little routine going on here that you're going to be commenting on 2 of your colleagues' postings on these activities as we go along. You're going to create a poem as your next activity. Using the information found below, write either an I am or I am from or a bio poem. I've written an I am from poem that you can see as an exemplar. There are other exemplars of the other types of poems in the information found below. You're going to post your poem in this week's Dropbox, and guess what? You're going to comment on 2 of your colleagues' poems. And then you will read chapters 11 and 12 if you're in the 8th edition, or just 12 if you're in the 9th edition. These chapters discuss so many ideas to use literature, children's literature, especially within your instruction. Write at least 10 ideas from one of these chapters to infuse literature in your instruction. There are ideas within ideas in this chapter. Post these ideas in this week's Dropbox, but you do not need to comment on your colleagues' postings for this activity. Those are the activities that you're going to complete this week. They're all independent. There are no group activities. But what you do need to know also, and I will also be making this announcement, is that your e-portfolio, your final exam, and your screencast are due Wednesday of this week. Don't panic if you don't get it in, but don't wait till Friday, because I am going to be grading, and I hope I have enough time. Spring break is next week. The break between terms, I need to take some time. I can't grade all that week, so please don't wait till the end. Now, you can wait till Friday to turn in this week's activities. This is a little different than we normally do. Usually we give you that additional weekend, but during the additional weekend, I need to grade, and I need to make sure you've got your scores of the number of points that you earned in the term, so that you can translate that into a letter grade, so you know what your grade is for the course. I try to enter those in the registrar, to the registrar, by Monday or Tuesday, and that's what my plan is. So if you have additional work to turn in, please don't hesitate to turn that in as soon as you can. If you need some additional time, you may ask me. Hopefully I won't be bombarded with additional work, so I do have time to grade everything. But that is a concern if you wait, especially for your readers' response blogs. Please turn those in soon as well if you haven't yet. I think those are my announcements and my reminders for you. In your e-portfolio, you're going to put the major assignments, a reflection for each assignment, one short reflection for each assignment, and you're going to include a page or an area where you'll have some additional resources that you may have collected either through the term or that you collected on your own that that you would use with children's literature in the classroom. So they could be websites of children's literature. They could be some activities. You might want to post the social emotional learning framework that we have used during the 10 weeks. You might want to post the guide. You're more than welcome to do that as well. So there's several different resources right there that I have indicated to you that you could post. But do that because that is part of your final exam, your part of your e-portfolio. Also your screencast, about 2 minutes. You're going to respond to 3 questions. What activity, what assignment might have been your favorite or that you liked? What's one that was challenging to you? And what's one that best represents you as a teacher who uses children's literature in your classroom? So those are the 3 questions you post. That shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. If you want to point out something else in your portfolio, be my guest. If you are long-winded in your responses to those, I may only be able to read the first 2 minutes. So put the most important work in the first 2 minutes, because otherwise I end up having to spend a lot of time viewing screencasts, and I don't have that much time, but I do have enough time to get an idea of what you thought about your work that you've done this term. That's it. So I'll see you online. It's been a great term. I've really enjoyed working with you. Please stay in touch with me. Let me know what you're doing. And if you ever need a pep talk, you contact me because we'll Zoom together and I will give you the pep talk of your lifetime because you deserve what your goals are and you deserve to go for it. Do never, ever, ever let anyone or anything get in your way. I know sometimes we have to stop along the way, but don't stop for long. Keep going and get what you want because you certainly deserve it. I feel you do, and I think you do too. Otherwise, take care.